Hey everybody, welcome back to Runaway Roses. Today, I'm just going to talk about insurance for a Class 4 or 5 truck and how difficult, frustrating, and expensive it can be. Stick around. If you're thinking about getting a Class 4 or 5 truck to haul a truck camper or pull a fifth wheel or whatever the case may be, that's great. But the one thing that you may need to consider first is what the insurance is going to cost. I just want to go over a quick little story about what it took me to get insurance. Hopefully others haven't had as much problem as I did. I'll try to make this fairly brief. So this kind of goes back to our Ram 4500 we had a couple years ago, and now we have a Ford F450 cab chassis. They're both cab chassis. So like I said, I am talking about Class 4 or 5 truck. And I know the Ford has the F450 pickup. I'm not including that because that is actually still considered a 1-ton truck. So that is going to be a little bit easier to insure. Any of the regular 3500 F350s or the Ford F450 pickup, any of those are going to be easier to insure with just regular insurance from my experience from checking with all of them. But a couple years ago when I got a Ram 4500, I went and I bought it. I just assumed it'd be pretty easy to get insurance. And when I got home, I had quite the shock because I found out that when I tried to get my insurance, the rates I was getting quoted was anywhere from about $3,500 to a little over $10,000 to try to insure this Ram 4500 cab chassis truck as a personal vehicle. Most of the insurance companies acted like they didn't even want to do it as a personal vehicle. So that kind of made it even more frustrating. But what happened was I ended up calling about 10, 12 different insurance companies, and a couple of them said they wouldn't even insure it at all as a personal vehicle. They consider a Class 4 and 5 truck a commercial truck, and they expect you to basically be working out of it. And I told everybody it's going to be a personal truck. I'm really not even going to drive it that much other than basically hauling our camper. And so I ended up calling all these places. About the cheapest I found was about $3,500, and then I was getting very frustrated, and I thought it was going to cost me that much, which was a lot more than I was expecting. Which I had currently dealt with Allstate for our auto policies, but it was going to be ridiculous with Allstate, so I started checking around. So anyhow, I ended up finding a place that I got insurance for that Ram 4500 for, I think it's about $1,550. It's a little less than $1,600 a year, so that's what I ended up going with. And so I did that, and then when we got rid of that Ram 4500 and got our Ford F350, if you've been watching our channel before, you will have noticed that I probably commented that our insurance went down quite a bit because I was actually able to put that F350 onto our regular policy with Allstate. So once the F350 was just easy to insure being a regular 1-ton truck. So, and the price went down drastically over the Ram. So anyhow, so we had that truck for a little while, and then when I traded it in and got this Ford F450 cab chassis, I knew I was going to get right back into the same problem and going to have to pay more insurance, and I'm paying quite a bit more for the insurance again. But that's okay because I want the cab chassis, the heavier duty, technically medium duty truck. 4, 5, 6 series are medium duty trucks, and half ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton, or light duty trucks. So I wanted that medium duty truck, and so we got it. And then same thing happened. I started calling around for insurance. Matter of fact, I first started with the same insurance company that I had the first time, and the agent said that they no longer insured medium duty trucks as personal vehicles. for personal insurance. So here we go again. So I started calling all these insurance companies. I called another 9 or 10 insurance companies. I got rates not quite as high as I did the first time, but they were still basically from about $3,600 to about, I think it was a little under $8,000 a year, because a lot of them wanted to do commercial policies, and I didn't want a commercial policy, and I just wanted it to be, a personal insurance. So after a bunch of calls, I kind of got frustrated, and I let it go for the day, and I literally spent all day long giving all these insurance companies all my information, checking everything out, and some of them actually did ask if it had I think one or two of them asked if it had a pickup bed on it or a flat bed, but most of them did ask if it had a flat bed on it. So I don't know if maybe if you put a pickup bed on the cab chassis, maybe it'd be a little bit cheaper. I don't know. I didn't get that far with it because that's not what I had. So, just being honest, I got a flat bed on there, and I did end up finding insurance for it. So the next day I ended up basically calling back the same company that I had insurance with. I looked them up directly instead of calling the last agent that I had for the policy. And I just looked at their number up directly, and I called, which is Safeco Insurance. Give them a little plug because they've been great, and their prices were the best out of everything. So, and I have a little bit higher coverage on it too. It's not just the basic coverage. And so I just looked their number up online, and I called the number from them directly. They put me with one of their specialists. I think he was out of New Jersey, I think it was. And so he ended up getting me a policy with actually just a little under $1,600. And so I ended up working out, but both times it took me more than a day to actually figure out where I was going to insure it. And it was just very difficult to find insurance, especially as a personal vehicle. If you got a company or something, you want to insure it, commercially, that may work just fine. Although the insurance may still be very expensive. Something else to consider is going down to the tag office to get a tag. This vehicle, being a medium-duty truck, does require, in Georgia, where I'm at, does require a weighted tag. So my tag says it's 18,000 pound truck. Actually, the GVWR is 16.5 on this truck. But also, for me to get my tag, I had to sign something saying that this truck was not for hire, that it's a personal truck. So I'm sure if it was going to be used for hire, for work, then probably have to put some extra legal numbers on the side and that sort of thing, whatever the DOT requires. I don't know too much about that. So if it is commercial based, you may want to check into that. So there may be some extra little things you have to do if you are going to insure it commercially, and to use it for your camper or something like that. But check with your tag office as well. I know some people have mentioned getting insurance from a RV insurance company, and I did actually try that. I talked to 2 or 3 of them, and what I found out was they all acted like they would insure it, but then when they found out that I had a truck camper, they wouldn't insure it. So that was kind of interesting, because basically they said if there's a trailer attached, so if it was even a travel trailer or a fifth wheel or something like that, then they would have insured it. So that was pretty frustrating. I was like, what's the difference of whether I'm pulling something that's got, an extra axle or two, and wheels and tires, and versus just sitting on the back of a truck. And they didn't really have any response. So basically, all 3 of the RV insurance companies ended up not being willing to insure the truck just because I'm hauling a truck camper. So that is interesting. So you can take note of that while you're looking at trying to find insurance, if you're thinking about getting one of these. So if you're thinking about getting one of these trucks just to haul a truck camper, you better check into the insurance first to find out what it may cost you. and just so you know what you're headed into, because your insurance company that you use now, they may or may not insure it at all, or it may be just crazy expensive like it was with mine when I went to add it on and found out it was just a ridiculous amount of money. And so, spent some time trying to figure something else out. So that's kind of the moral of the story. Just make sure you, do your research before you buy one of these trucks. If you're thinking about getting one, just so you know what you're gonna, what you're looking at spending. This time around, I knew I was gonna be spending more, but didn't really know exactly how much, because I was planning on using the same insurance company that I did last time. And so I kind of went around in a big circle, but I ended up back there with them. So that's just a little quick rundown of my experience of trying to get insurance on a class 4 or 5 truck. So good luck if you're thinking about getting one of these, or if you just got one, maybe try Safeco. I got no affiliation with them other than I'm paying for insurance just like everybody else that has it with them. So, but I had it last time and got it again. So far so good. That's about it. Appreciate you sticking around, watching the video. Hoped it helped, and see you next time at Runaway Roses. Bye-bye.